We need to settle something. Since we're finally out of the Wilds season, which one was worse, Primal or Wilds? Chapter 4 Season 3 was constantly compared to the Primal season back in Chapter 2, and for being one of the worst seasons in Fortnite's history. We know that Primal was sitting at first place, being the worst season of Fortnite, according to the community at least. But then the Wilds came along, and I think it has a beat. I posted a couple polls on Instagram and Twitter to let you guys decide which season was the most hated. So let's talk about the Primal season. Going from Chapter 2 Season 5, which revolved around the Zero Point and Bounty Hunters, to a totally different season revolving around wildlife and the Primal Age. Fortnite got drastically different, and it almost felt a bit random. Obviously, every season is different, but for some reason this one just got a ton of hate. But how did we even get here? Following the events of the battle against Galactus, Jones was sent by Sloan to fix the Zero Point, reseal the bridge while not letting anyone escape the loop, which Jones does by jumping from reality to reality, gathering the best hunters from across all realities. However, each Zero Point jump caused the Zero Point to destabilize, to the point which characters near it took notice. Jones, angry that the Imagined Order did nothing to prevent the Zero Point from destabilizing further, brings the leader of the Seven, the Foundation, into the island to fix the Zero Point. However, he fails to do so, and resorts to creating a tower that will contain the Zero Point's final blast and minimize the damage to the island. I think the biggest reason the season flopped so hard was because of the drastic changes to the loot pool. I mean, we went from heavy ARs, Dragon Breath shotguns, and exploding sniper rifles to primal shotguns and makeshift rifles, and people really weren't a fan of having to collect metal to create their own weapons. Another downside to the makeshift weapons was that the number of upgrade locations were reduced and pushed to the edges of the maps, making it much harder and more time consuming to craft a higher tier weapon. And by the time you even crafted your weapon, you were either about to die or the game was almost over. This made a lot of people stop playing and ended up waiting until the next season came out to even play. But then again, there were some people, as always, that enjoyed the weapons and had fun regardless.
Fire's Assassin Primal Shotgun, let's go! We didn't have to do anything. That's easy.
The Battle Pass. Agent Jones was tier 1 while the Spire Assassin was tier 100. I believe this was a pretty basic battle pass that featured a Lara Croft collaboration with multiple styles. I believe this was a huge selling point, although so was the Neymar Jr. secret skin. As far as the super level rewards, we saw Tirana, Roz, and the Spire Assassin get bonus styles. These went from levels 110 all the way up to level 225, so quite the grind. Map changes and updates. A frequent complaint about the Primal season was a lack of updates. Everyone was complaining almost the entire season, and nothing was done to improve their issues. Any sort of map changes only seemed to happen at the center of the map, and the lack of updates just made it seem very dull. Someone stated that Primal was just Epic experimenting a bit, and people didn't react well to it, whereas Wild was just recycled content. But hey, at least we got an event and the storyline seemed to be continuing, whereas the last several seasons it seems to have just completely disappeared. Which brings me to Wilds. It seems like Wilds was somehow worse than Primal. But first, here's the key features of the Primal season. The ability to tame animals. New wildlife added: wolves, boars, chickens, frogs, and the crafting mechanic, which of course we already talked about. So enough of Primal, let's talk about Wilds. Okay, so I think a lot of us enjoyed Fortnite Mega, a futuristic take on the map, and characters, a fantastic battle pass, and Japanese themed points of interest. This one seemed to be a win in the community's eyes. But then came Wilds. History repeats itself, doesn't it? Wilds was really out here giving us the Primal vibes, but honestly, I don't think the weapons were as bad as Primal. Nothing can be as bad as the makeshift weapons, I definitely don't miss those. But how do we even get to Wilds? After rumbling intensified around Anvil Square and the Hidden Hedge, the terrain crumbled and the center of the Asteria collapsed, revealing a long abandoned jungle which had been hidden beneath the surface of the island since the Paradigm initiated Zero Fusion. The lore in this one and the most recent seasons were obviously very confusing, and I'm unsure even after the season has ended if we truly understood what the story was even trying to tell. The main focus felt like a mixture between Optimus Prime and random apparatus lore with returning skins. The entire storyline was literally just a build-up of the apparatus, which sort of feels like a Batman calling signal to me. The loot pool. To me, I think the Flapjack rifle was entirely underrated, and having the kinetic boomerang was pretty cool, except for the fact that he advertised it on the main poster for the season, only to take it out halfway through. What's up with that? The Battle Pass included a very big collaboration with Transformers. We saw Optimus Prime in the Battle Pass as a tier 100 skin, while Era was a tier 1 skin. I believe this was a pretty good battle pass compared to Fortnite's Primal season. Most of the skins were very well perceived, and Optimus was a nice touch, especially considering they added the Peter Cullen voice lines in the game, which if you're unfamiliar with him, he's the actual original voice of Optimus Prime.
Autobots, transform and roll out!
Map changes and updates. What map changes and what updates? No, but really, the lack of updates in the season were just sad. Especially for the leakers and the Fortnite news channels like myself. Let's just get this out of the way, because I know we're all thinking it. The summer event. The worst summer event in Fortnite's history. How could they give us such exciting summer events such as Cosmic Summer and No Sweat Summer, and then come give us quite literally nothing? This had a lot of people fuming on Twitter, myself included. I mean, come on, they just recycled some decorations from the previous years and gave us some quests instead of the events that were supposed to be used for the past several years. The key features of Wilds included the grind vines, bomb flowers, stink flowers, slurp plants, hop flowers, raptor eggs, job boards, and the mud mechanic, which is entirely weird. Now guys, I know we skipped over a lot of important key details in the video, like the incredibly confusing storyline, some updates like on vaults and vaultings, but I think we have a general understanding or memory of both of these seasons. So now I'm asking you guys the major question: was Fortnite Wilds worse than Primal?